Hi, I'm Beth. Welcome to this gentle, active yoga class. I call the class, Come On, Get Strappy. We're going to be using a yoga strap for most of the class. Now, if you don't have a yoga strap, no worries. You can substitute all kinds of things. A long tie, a belt, a sash from a robe, a dog leash would likely work really well. You do want to make sure it's fairly long. I think mine is about 6 or 8 feet. You can even use a pair of your leggings opened really wide. So grab your strap, join me over on the mat, and we will start seated. I have a couple of blocks nearby too. I'm going to sit up on my blocks. You can sit up on a cushion. You can even do this first part seated in a chair if you'd like. Sitting up on something just helps to give the spine a little bit of height. And in this class, we'll be doing work with the strap that will help emphasize the length of the spine, help give the spine a nice elongated feel to it. We'll also be doing quite a bit of work for the shoulders and for the side bodies as well. So take your strap, sit however is comfortable for you. You don't need any kind of loop to your strap. I've got a little knot here in mine. Have a nice long strap. Give yourself lots of strap. And we're going to start with some shoulder rotations, kind of like a rainbow. So pulling wide on the strap and also pulling your arms forward. So you're pulling your arms away from the shoulder socket. Lift up. Again, you're lifting that arc away from you. And then you may need to give yourself more strap as you pull away behind you. You'll see your shoulder blades really draw together as you do this and back down to any height that feels comfortable. So you don't have to go all the way down to your low back if this is the height that maybe feels like a good bit of work for you. And then continuing to draw the shoulder blades back, pulling the hands, the arms away from you, up, 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 and back toward front. And a few times like that, lifting up and away. Again, thinking about that big arc, moving the strap as far away from your body as it feels comfortable for you to do. Pulling the arms out and away the whole time that you do this. You may find yourself grazing the top of your head. See if you can lift up, 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 out and away more if that happens. And let's do one more, finding a little bit, maybe more room, a bit of a wider circle around your body. I'm hearing some creaks and crunches in my shoulders. And then back through front. And then we'll take our hands a little bit closer on the strap, maybe just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart this time. We'll start to bend the elbows, drawing them back. So not keeping them in, drawing the elbows back. And you'll notice that that also draws the shoulder blades back on your back. Pulling the strap wide. So I'm keeping quite a bit of tension on the strap as I draw my shoulders and my shoulder blades and my elbows behind my shoulders. So if I look this way, my elbows are actually behind my body. Pulling down as I do this, until I can touch the strap about to the back of my neck or the tops of my shoulders. Pull, pull, pull. And then keeping the hands wide, the elbows pulled back, all of this really stretching tension. Push, 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 up, up, up. And we'll do that just one more time. So if your strap has gotten slack, keep it wide, elbows pulled back, shoulders pressing together, shoulder blades pressing together on the back. And maybe you can even go back a little bit more with the arms and the shoulders the second time, coming about down so the strap comes to about shoulder height. And then sometimes it's harder on the way up, push, 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 up, up, up. Nice. Okay, you can release that for a second. You might need a little shakeout. I know I do. We'll do one more seated thing with the strap. Again, strap up and overhead, this time again with a more wider grip like we started with. And then you'll take one arm behind you. So if you're mirroring me, your left arm comes behind you, right pulls in the opposite direction. So the strap is coming on a diagonal. And then start to pull the arm in the back, your left arm back down toward the floor while pulling up on the front strap. So there's kind of a little bit of a tug of war going on. Arms stay as straight as possible. Pulling away. You can get a little bit of a neck stretch, a little neck movement, mobility here by moving around coming back up, and then we'll go to the other side and adjust your hands on the strap at any point that you need. So your right arm comes back, left hand pulls up. You can stay facing toward me, or you might move your neck around a little bit in this if it feels good. All right, and then release the strap, or release your arms, but stay with the strap because we're going to use it as we come up to standing. And if you were seated on something, you can move that prop out of the way. All right, so as we come up to standing, first thing is to find our mountain pose. That's our firm feet on the ground, our weight even from side to side. So finding a position where we feel comfortable, secure in our feet. And we're going to repeat the first exercise. That's called shoulder flossing. So taking the arms out again, a little bit wider than shoulder width. And now you maybe reach the arms down a little bit. Feel yourself pull your shoulder blades apart on your back, your arms out of them sockets as they come forward, pulling, pulling, pulling right at the shoulder joint. So that's where we're trying to do the flossing. Up and overhead, giving yourself more strap if needed. And then down behind you, just like we did seated. Back up. And then we're going to turn to the side for a moment so you can see the sideways and see how we're trying to concentrate the move in your shoulders and not allow your back to take over. So reaching forward. There's this tendency that when you get maybe to about here or a little more, for your shoulders to take that movement into the back. So your back to give a little assist or a little cheat. And then you start to draw yourself into a back bend, your ribs come forward. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, if you want to stretch your back, go right ahead. If you want to isolate the movement into your shoulders and get more mobility into your shoulders, we're going to try to keep the torso still, the ribs in place over the hips rather than thrusting forward. So let's try that one more time that way. So I really have to think about drawing my ribs in so that they don't go out like that as I just isolate the movement in my shoulders, drawing my shoulder blades back, 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 my scapula on my back, maybe pulling back more. And then one last back, up and around. All right. So again, find your mountain to start, and then we'll take the feet a little wider. You can be in a wide mountain, so just outside of hip width, or maybe more in your wide-legged stance with your toes approximately coming toward me. This time, we're going to take the strap behind you. Be careful if you have a buckle like I do. We'll start with your palms of your hands grasping the strap a little bit more than hip width apart. I'm going to stay with my legs a little bit closer together here. So hands a little bit more than hip width, palms facing away from you. Let the arms pull down toward the floor to start. And then begin to lift the arms, the palms toward the back of the room behind you. Again, keeping the arms as straight as possible and keeping some tension on the strap. So lightly pulling with your hands. That'll also draw your shoulder blades together on your back as you lift up. No need to go high, only to the point that you feel some stretch, some work across the back. Trying again to keep the rib cage in line with the hips so that your shoulders really are working here rather than your spine taking over this movement. And then release. And then we're going to turn the hands so that the thumbs face out, the palms face toward you. It might change your grip of the strap a little bit. So we're moving from internal rotation of the shoulders to external rotation. Notice how this feels. You might feel a greater sense of width across the front of your body, across your sternum, your chest. And then do the same thing. Lift your arms up and behind. Maybe this time you feel it not just between your shoulder blades, but a little bit more in the front of your deltoids, across the front of your shoulders. Give yourself a nice little pull in the shoulders there, keeping the sides of your body long. That's going to be important for our next standing poses. And then releasing back down. All right. Now we'll take the legs wider. to more of a wide standing stance. And we're going to take whatever hand position you preferred. So either palms away and shoulders a little bit more internally rotated, or personally, I like palms forward and externally rotating my shoulders because we don't stay in this position as much in life. So draw your hands back same way as you did, whichever way they're facing, wherever you need your stretch. And that's part of functional yoga, is finding where you need the work to happen for you. And then right at the hip creases where the top of your leg meets your pelvis, we're going to start to fold forward. At first, only coming down to about the halfway point, whatever halfway is for you. It might be 40, more 45. And then see if you can pull more at this point with your arms. Maybe they go more toward the ceiling. Pulling away, way, way the whole time. Even if that lifts your body more up, that's totally fine. You're allowing gravity to help you a little bit here, letting your body sink down, your heart sink to the ground, your arms pull up. And then release that. Bring the strap in front of you, keep your legs wide. We'll forward fold again, this time with the strap in front, and then we'll take it into a twist. So hold the strap right at about chest level. And when you start to fold forward this time, think about your chest moving toward the strap, your arms staying long, rather than your head going forward. Sometimes I'm guilty of doing that, allowing my head to get out of line with the rest of my spine. Folding, folding, folding. Allowing your arms to come toward the floor. If they don't easily reach the floor, you can just bend your knees. You can use blocks, or you can have your hands on a chair, whatever works. I'll bend my knees a little bit here so that I can take my right hand toward the floor. Your left hand, if you're mirroring me. Your right hand is going to grab the strap, place the bottom hand flat, lift up and turn toward the top arm, keeping the strap in one long straight line. So not bending this arm behind you. One long straight line of the strap, and the long straight line might be here. Turning your chest toward the strap. And then breathing as you come back down. Your right hand replaces the left on the ground. Turning your chest in the opposite direction. Keeping the strap long and straight. Releasing. And then you can place your hands on your thighs, either roll up or come up with a straight back. We are going to keep the legs wide for a couple more standing poses using some of those same principles we were just working with in the forward fold. I'm going to take my hands, I'm going to take the strap behind me just about at my the bottom of my shoulder blades. Exactly where the strap doesn't matter. You'll find wherever's comfortable as you lift your hands out to a T. And then take your right foot, turn it toward the top of your mat, maybe it's the bottom. Turn your back toes in a little bit. Bend your front knee so that you come into your warrior two. So in warrior two here, gently pull with the back arms. Sometimes what we'll see in warrior two is we start leaning forward over the front leg, and then our weight isn't really evenly distributed over both feet. So feel that your weight is sinking into both feet and that your torso is balanced over both feet. And you can use your arms to adjust that a little bit. And then straighten your front leg, and we'll move into triangle pose, keeping both sides of the body, so these are your side bodies, both sides of the body long, pulling a little bit with the back arm, even as you dip forward with the front, staying in kind of this long star position. And then you can drop your bottom hand toward your leg, wherever it falls. Take a glance up at your top hand. Again, notice that there's not like a bend in the strap, that the strap is staying long and straight. And you can always bring the top arm to your hip. So that's another option. You're still keeping all of the same mechanics at work in your body. You're still holding onto the strap. Use the strap of your left hand in the air to help pull your body all the way up to standing. Release the strap and we'll go to the other side. So turn your back toes, your right toes in a little bit, your left toes all the way out toward the top or the bottom of your mat. Stretch your arms wide into a T and bend into your front knee. Now you can grasp the strap here however is comfortable for you. My palms are facing a little bit forward. You can have them more down. That's more of a traditional warrior two position. Or you can have them even flipped up, more external rotation like we did earlier. So you use the strap to help adjust your warrior two, finding the spot where you feel evenly balanced over both feet. Your torso feels balanced over your hips. And then begin to straighten your front leg. Lengthen your body, reach apart with your arms, reach with the front arm, so your left arm reaches, your right arm pulls a little bit, kind of countering that. As you begin to dip, your right hip will also come in the opposite direction of your left. And then when you dip to wherever you are dipping to today, drop the bottom arm, let it rest lightly, lift up with the top arm, keeping that arm active, thinking about turning your torso to the arm rather than swinging the arm behind you. One more breath. And then pull up with the top arm. Come all the way up to standing. You can either heel toe or jump your feet in. Take a breath in your mountain. Feel the floor once again. Keep a hold of your strap because we're going to use it again as we come down to the floor. Just a few more poses to finish out this practice. So come down to the floor. We're going to come down to seated. And we're going to try boat pose with the strap. So boat pose is a pose that requires a lot of core strength. It's a little bit of a balance. The strap really makes us more stable and helps us with the balance. So I'm going to be a little bit on an angle to you. We'll start sitting right on the sits bones. Those are the bony parts on our butt and on the heels of the feet. I'm going to take the strap. I'm going to put it around the bottom of my feet. And so what I'm going to do is going to be a little bit of a leverage here. As I lean back, my feet are going to lift off the floor. But once my feet are up, I'm going to push into the strap with my feet because it's that opposing action that's going to help me be floating off the ground a little bit more effortlessly than if I wasn't using the strap. So you kind of have to pull in as you're pushing with your feet, as you're leaning back to get up there. And it's actually easier once you have a little bit of loft, once you're floating a little bit. And then you can push into your feet as you pull with the strap coming into this boat variation. And maybe you even feel more room to push your legs straight. You still have the strap. So if you have that straightness, you can do that. And then draw your feet in and down. Beautiful. All right. We'll finish lying on our backs. We'll do a version of bridge pose with the strap. So as you come to lie, you can have the strap right at the front part of your ankle. So at the top of your feet, where the edge of your shoe would be, and you can draw the strap down the sides of your body as you come to lying on your back with your feet bent. So lying on your back, feet close to your bottom. Hold on to the strap with your hands. Hands can be palms up, upper arms pushed into the ground, feet pushed into the ground. And you can use your strap to wriggle your shoulder blades a little bit underneath you as you wriggle from side to side. You'll be able to do that even more as you lift up. So we'll start to lift into bridge pose, pushing into our feet, lifting our hips. And then like all the other poses, I'm gently pulling on the strap as I lift. And then I do a little wiggle and get my shoulder blades a little bit more underneath me. Maybe you'll find you have room to walk your hands toward your feet a little bit more, walking a little more down the strap. Maybe not, that's fine too. Breathe as you're in your back bend. This is a back bend. We're stretching the front body, strengthening the back. Another breath. Exhale and release. If you like, you can repeat that. If you're ready for something a little bit more relaxing, you can stretch both feet into the strap in an L shape, bring them toward the ceiling. You don't have to hold the strap here, but if you'd like to get a little bit more stretch in the back of the hamstrings, you can give a gentle pull here. You've probably done hamstring stretches with the strap, so if you'd like to do a little more stretching with the hamstring, you can stretch them one at a time with the strap overhead.
out to either side. We're just going to stay here for a moment to end our practice. You could do this wide as well. You want to bring the stretch more to the inner thighs. And I'm going to let my feet come out of the strap. I'll place the strap aside as I roll to one side. Help myself back up. So that was today's Come On, Get Strappy practice. I hope you enjoyed some of these variations of playing around with the strap. If there's any pose that was challenging for you or you wanted to find new ways to do that pose, check out my VIP yoga series in which I break down different poses. You might find one of the poses broken down to help give you a better way to do it for you, for your body. That's a variation on individualized practice. That's functional yoga. Join me again. Have a great day.